All right, this is pre-calc lesson 5.1. We're going to start going through trig identities, and what Mr. Womack is going to do is go through a handful of problems on the assignment. So you'll notice at the top of the chapter 5 is your trig identities. So what we're going to basically do with these is kind of take these and use them to basically simplify these expressions. All right, so we'll start with number 9 here. Tan x cosine of x. So we want to simplify that down as best we can. Well, what can we turn tangent into? Well, tangent is sine over cosine. We take that times cosine, then you can chunga chunga, and you are left with sine x. So number 9 would be the sine of x. Okay? Number 11, I'll kind of do the odds here and leave you guys some of the even ones to do. Make sure you look at the Moodle has the assignment on there. Okay, number 11 then. Secant y times secant pi over 2 minus y. Well, we know secant is 1 over cosine. Okay, if you're not sure, you can look here. We can see that secant right there is 1 over cosine. And then the other one they had there was the sine of pi over 2 minus y. So sine of pi over 2 minus y would be right down here. And we can see that, sine of pi right here would be the same thing as cosine. That would be this one right here in the middle. Let me get my writing tool up here. That would be, this guy right here, same thing. So we can replace that with cosine. So times cosine y. Well, that's going to cancel out, leave you with 1. So number 11 there would simplify down to 1. Okay, let's try number 13. So 1 plus tangent squared over cosecant squared. So let's go back over to here. 1 plus tangent squared. Well, we can see right there that is the same as that one. So 1 plus tangent squared can be simplified to secant squared. So we're going to go secant squared x over cosecant squared x. Well, secant over cosecant would be the same thing as, hold on here, secant squared over cosecant squared be the same thing as, well, it would be 1 over cosine squared x over 1 over sine squared x. Then when you're multiplying or dividing fractions, we're going to flip that and multiply. So that would be, sine squared x over 1. So then you end up with sine squared over cosine squared, which can be reduced. Sine over cosine is the same thing as tangent. So your final answer there would be tangent squared x. So you just want to work it down to get it down and simplify it as best you can. All right, let's try another one. Let's try number 15. Here we go, 15. All right, I can pull a cosine out of both of those. And when I do that, I get, whoops, 1 minus cosine squared x. Okay. Then we see over here on our right there, those can be rewritten any way that you want. So 1 minus cosine squared would be the same thing as sine squared. So I have cosine x times sine squared x, and I have that in terms of sine and cosine. That's as far as I can go for number 15. All right, so even you guys, some of the even ones to do. Today we're going to go 9 through 20 and 23 through 26. So let's keep on rolling here. All right. I don't want that. So now we want 17. All right. Says simplify the expression to either 1 or negative 1. So we're going to use some of our negative angles here. So for 17, we're going to go sine x times, we got to go look and see what the cosecant of negative x is. So we go over to here. Those are right here. Cosecant of negative x would be right here. That would be negative the cosecant of x. Well, negative the cosecant is the same thing as negative 1 over sine. So that's going to cancel. And for 17, you're going to be left with negative 1. All right. Let's try that again. Let's jump down to number 19. Cotan of negative x. So the cotan of negative x can be rewritten as, right here, negative the cotangent of x. That's right there. So we can write negative cotan x times, and then the cotangent of pi over x, or pi over 2 minus x. So the cotangent of pi over 2 minus x right here, that's the same thing as the tangent of x. Well, cotan is negative 1 over tan times tan, cancels out. You're left with number 19 with negative 1. Okay. All right. Let's go on to some more identities. Anything I don't do in the video here, make sure that you do. Well, you should do the ones in the video, write them out, go through them, and then do the ones also for day 1 that I did not assign. All right, let's keep going here. 23. All right, 23. So we're just going to simplify this down as far as we can go. All right, tangent of pi over 2 minus x is the same thing as tangent of pi over 2 minus x right here. That's the same thing as the cotangent of x. So we've got cotan x times cosecant x over cosecant squared. All right. Well, cotan x is cosine over sine, and cosecant x is 1 over sine. So, and then down at the bottom, cosecant squared, I don't think that's 1 plus cotangent. Hold on a sec here. Oh, yeah. Actually, we can take, we don't need that. So we've got cosecant x. We can get rid of that and get rid of one of these. So now we have cosine over sine over cosecant would be 1 over sine. So then we're going to multiply by the reciprocal, cancel it out, and you are left on number 23 with the cosine of x. Apologize for my sloppiness sometimes. All right. Let's do 25. Let's do 25. All right. 25. Secant squared plus cosecant squared. Well, let's go look here at, see if that shows up as a Pythagorean. Secant, cosecant, what was it again? Secant squared plus cosecant squared. That doesn't show up. But we can rewrite this. Let's kind of distribute here. So we got secant squared x plus cosecant squared x minus tangent squared x. And then this would also be minus cotangent squared x. All right. So now we should be able to get this together. If you look right here, if you moved secant squared and minus tangent squared, that would be equal to 1. So secant squared minus tangent squared would be 1. And then I would hope cosecant squared minus cotangent squared, and boom, right there, if you subtract, remember you can use these Pythagoreans and move them around. If I subtracted that over there, I would also be left with 1. So actually both of those are equal to 1. 1 plus 1 would be 2. So the answer to number 25 would be 2. All right, one last one I'll go through, and then you can have, 5, 6 of these to try, and then we can talk about them tomorrow at our Google Meet. All right, let's try 26. And that'll be enough for day 1 here. All right, secant squared minus tangent squared. So I go to my note sheet, boom, right here. If I move tangent squared over, secant squared minus tangent squared would be 1. And then cosine squared plus sine squared. If you look at that there, boom, right there. That would also be 1. 1 divided by 1